Hey everybody, this is JuiceMan3941 coming back at you with another Gaming Roundtable episode. Today's episode is brought to you by Beer in the Throat. Anyway, back from our sponsor here. This is episode 4. It's entitled The Rant. And no, I'm not talking about me ranting about anything. I'm talking about people who rant for the sake of ranting. You know what I mean? You know who I'm talking about? Those people who get on there and take a big, giant, leaping fucking turd on games like Call of Duty because they hate Call of Duty. They want to rant about how it's not Modern Warfare 4 or whatever version of game that they like. And the problem, though, is that it's kind of a poisonous kind of thing. And if you want to know what game I'm playing, I am playing Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate that features many characters and others from other video games, which is pretty cool. As a matter of fact, there's 175 plus characters. I highly recommend it. Before I get into that, this episode is all about the rant, you know. And everyone's gone on a rant or tirade here and there. It happens for everybody. Everybody does it. You know what I mean? But this particular episode, I want to focus on those who want to rant about games that they used to play. There might be a series of them, and how it's no longer like this. This is one kind of rant. You know, I'm a COD player, but I'm a passive COD player. The amount of CODs I've owned. Modern Warfare 3 was the very first Call of Duty I ever got into. Never played the other ones before that. To this day, I hold Modern Warfare 3 with high regard. I love the game. Never touched a Call of Duty. 3 weeks later, I'm prestiging. I'm not saying that I was good. I'm just saying that I had played so much Unreal Tournament. It's very much the same type of game. Just Call of Duty has perks. Unreal Tournament does not. And I've been playing Unreal for many, many years. And then we get into, other Call of Duties I played, like Black Ops 1, I owned Black Ops 2. Ghost was given to me for free by a friend of mine who hated it, and then I got Black Ops 3 here of recently. I didn't pay full price for it. Is it installed on my PS4? Yeah, I went about 2 weeks, never really played it again. Even it rips off Destiny a lot. Let's just face facts. But that's a whole nother story. But my point is that there's so many people that love to rant about how they hate how Call of Duty is. Now, I'm subscribed to several channels. My good friends, 1316 Killer, Angry Joe, Razor Fist Rageaholic, Rachel Moore, B. Dobbins 40 Win, Review Tech USA, just to name a few. Those are mostly the people that I watch. Jim Sterling, another one. B. Dobbins for the win. I love the guy. He's intelligent. Speaks his mind, does what he wants to do. Now, half the time I've been trying to figure out on his call, when he usually does a lot of Call of Duty videos, is that him playing, or is that somebody he knows that's playing? Because usually whoever's playing is really, really good at the game, no matter which Call of Duty it is. But ranting about Call of Duty, how it will never, he doesn't ever go into videos where it's kind of like, it's a shame that it doesn't go back to, how Call of Duty was with Modern Warfare 2 or Call of Duty 4. I think it was Modern Warfare 2 or one of the ones. Because again, I didn't play those, so I'm not really good with what came out first and what came out second, because I don't really give a shit. But my point is, I love saying that. My point is, what I don't get all the way around, though, guys, ladies and gentlemen of the gaming community, what I don't understand, let's move over here for a minute with this sexy girl from Ninja Gaiden. What I don't understand is, why are you ranting about a game that you don't like? I want to know, did you physically go out and buy that game? Did you? Did you buy the one before that you're ranting about, and the one before that you're ranting about? You're bitching about Black Ops 3, you're bitching about Ghosts, you're bitching about this and that, but you're going out and buying it. You don't have to buy it. No one is twisting your arm and forcing you to buy it. Are you buying it like, please, Call of Duty gods above, please make it like the game I used to like? Please. Well, guess the fuck what, dude? Reality, ching, check. It's never going to happen. You ranting about the game on YouTube or a blog or whatever, mostly YouTube, is not going to change anything. Activision is never, with the help of Infinity Ward, who makes the game, and Sledgehammer and the other 4 companies that are involved. It's hard to keep track, Treyarch and all those guys. They're never, ever, ever going to go back to the way that you want the game to be. It's never going to happen. Ranting about it does you no good. It's a negative waste of energy. It might be helpful to vent in a therapeutic way. Just don't buy the game, man. Just don't buy it. Why are you buying it? Buying it is serving you no purpose. It does you no good. And it's just absolutely, positively ridiculous that you're even bothering to buy it. And if you're not buying it, and you are using let's say you're using, I don't know, you're using like other people's videos, right, to fuel your own channel. Well, shame on you, because you should just sit down and play the games like I do, But it's all good, because I just did a video about respect. I'm still going to respect the fact that you do have your opinion. But the whole ranting thing really sometimes bothers me, because it's kind of like you're ranting about something that they're never going to change, and you do it year in and year out about the game series that you used to love. It's never going to be that way, man. Case in point, I've got a friend, good friend of mine, known him forever, who always wants, he's playing Battlefront. He likes it. He's a Star Wars fan, but he's bought Battlefield 3 and 4. He's bought into a lot of stuff with it, but he bitches and pisses and moans nonstop because he spent 4 years playing Bad Company 2, Battlefield Bad Company 2. And I love the guy, but it's like, dude, I know these games are not like Bad Company 2, but they'll never go back to that play style. No matter how much you want it to, it's never going to happen. The Battlefield series is going to play exactly how it plays now. Battlefield 4, going forward. God love you, man, that you supported the game so long. I respect the fact you love that game. But you know what? I started with Battlefield 3. I think Battlefield 3 is superior to Bad Company 2. Whether or not that my friend agrees with me or not, it's because I started with 3. I have no point of reference when it comes to Company 2. I have played it, but not when there was very few people playing it. It's a different animal. But people don't realize when Bad Company 2 come out, they weren't competing with Call of Duty at the time. It wasn't happening. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody stopped by to give a word from our sponsor. Listen to me. You gotta try this beer. And you gotta put it in your throat right now. Do it. This is what I'm about to do. Ah, that's good. I gotta get to the chopper. Take it away, Juice Man. Thanks. Thank you, Arnold. Appreciate you stopping by. But here's the deal. Here's the thing. This whole, you all ranting about this. But there are other kinds of rants, too. Some gamers are never satisfied. They're just never satisfied. They put on some YouTube videos, and they're consistently ranting, even if they put up the video as if they're not really. It's not really a rant. It's just they're just ranting in general, because nothing that they put out they're going to really like, and it probably goes back to these games from 10 years ago or 15 years ago or even 5 years ago are different now than what's put it out, and they just don't know how to deal with that, And that's kind of where that rant gets into that weird kind of mode where it's like, okay, well, do they even like anything? One of my subscribers, one of the people I subscribe to, Razorfist, Rageaholic. I love this guy. He's one of the early people I was watching on YouTube because so much about what he says about the gaming industry and the journalism and all this stuff is dead on the money, 100% accurate. But at times, he Fallout 4, Skyrim, different things that come out, and he'll either review it or talk about it. You'd almost would get the impression that nothing that's been released in the last, I'd say, 6 to 7 years, he's liked. Not one game. Not one roleplay. Not one action-adventure. Not one shooter. Not one third-person shooter, as he calls them. Not one game. Except for maybe Deus Ex Human Revolution, which, by the way, my opinion, 2011, best game the entire year ever released. And it's not because I'm a Deus Ex fan. That game had everything. Roleplay, drama, shooting, third-person cover, skill trees. It had literally about every type of game there is, outside of hack and slash. And that's my point, though. You would almost get the impression that Razorfist hates everything. And I love the man. I respect his opinions. But see, that's not necessarily true. Because there's a lot of games he does like. He just likes to point out the weaknesses of the gaming industry. It's kind of his thing. And he does it brilliantly. So I give him a lot of respect and credit for that. I don't think he's really ranting. But I think people take what he does as ranting. I really think that's what he does. I think he feels that he has to do that. And for me, it's really a matter of, what do you do in that sense when you're reading that? Is it a rant? Is it not a rant? And that's what this whole episode's about, is the rant. What is the basis of your rant? Is your rant basis because, there was a game or two that came out and the third one or fourth one was released and they changed it so much that it's really no longer the game that it was? Or is your rant based on the fact that you can't deal with the changes that have happened to it? One of the Army mottos in the Army, and I was not in the Army, but I know people who were in the Army, is improvise, adapt, and overcome. And I like that because you can apply that to everything. And you can apply that to gaming. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, of the YouTube community, my gamers out there, and what few subscribers I have, which right now is a big fat goose egg on YouTube. You think of it this way. My God, it's kind of like improvise, adapt and overcome. Improvise, accept the game for what it is. You Call of Duty motherfuckers out there who just can't stand the changes they've made. It's kind of like, well, no one's told you or forcing you to play it, number one. Number two, just play it and just accept the game for what it is. Yes, it may not be Modern Warfare 2 for you, or maybe it's not World of War, but it's still COD. The base core stuff that makes COD is still the same. Battlefield is the same way. But this is all competitive multiplayer. But it doesn't just apply to that. There's also single player. It is a legitimate rant if you're getting online and ranting about, and I did a video about this, about the lack of content in games lately, Street Fighter V and EA's Battlefront and Rainbow Six. But it's one thing to rant about it, but it's another thing. I think some people rant for the sake of ranting. They're like, you know what, I want to make a video today, so I'm going to rant about what everyone else is ranting about. And I'm like, that's the rant should be more like a constructive criticism towards the companies or games that we like. And here's the deal, though. So you can sit there and all day long, though, from a standpoint and bitch at EA about Battlefront, but EA didn't make Battlefront. They only published it. Yes, they funded some money. Yes, they probably had some say, but at the end of the day, it's DICE that made it. DICE deserves your shit, your rant. Ubisoft makes one game, they make Assassin's Creed. Every other game, the crew was made by Ivory Tower. Rainbow Six, the Division, I mean not Rainbow Six Division, what am I saying? But the Division, for example, right? If you look on the back of the box, like I'm doing now, it says developed and published by Ubisoft, right? That's another second game they make outside of the Assassin's Creed, right? You have to look at the back of the box. If it says published and developed by, then you're good. But they only make 2 or 3 games. Everything else they outsource, man. And that's my take on that. You should be ranting about not Ubisoft or EA, but you should be ranting about who actually made the game. But they don't do that. And the rant may be therapeutic, like I said. Green light's on. Word from our sponsor.
It was like, me and Apollo, we were like fighting, you know what I mean? And it's like I got the relaxed brain going on, so I gotta get the beer to throat. And pretty good, like me and Polly go to the bar and drink and stuff. Back to you, Juice Man.
Thanks, Sly. But that's what this episode's about. I don't really rant about games because I don't feel it's necessary to do it. Because I'm a big believer in acceptance. And I did a blog about acceptance, a watchword. And I'll probably do a video about that too. Because sometimes we just have to accept games for what they are, instead of what we need them to be or what we think they're going to be. People ranted for days on end about Destiny. People ranted, this one reviewer ranted about how, well, it's BS, and, I saw these ships, and I thought it'd be cool, and I could fly wherever. Bungie never, in any single dev diary, video diary, ever said anything about you being able to actually control the ships and fly wherever you wanted to. That was never in the game. Never happened. Just never happened. And that's kind of one of those oddball things that you would think, would have came up, but it didn't come up. And I kind of feel like, at the end of the day, why would anybody think that? And then that's where these rants come up. They have this expectation about the game, and it doesn't come to fruition, so then they get pissed off about it, and then they're like, okay, well, we got to go and rant about it now on YouTube. But you're wrong. Destiny's not a perfect game, but people just thought so much more the game was going to be than anything that the developers ever said it was going to be. Yes, there were some things they blatantly, bold-faced lied about. Yes, I'm not gonna completely give over to that thing, but it's at the same time, especially when it came to the ships and other things that they were showing in-house, I just kind of felt like, to be honest, it wasn't even, that was not even true, It's like, no, they didn't say we could fly those ships around. They didn't say anything about flying. That same reviewer said I had envisioned being able to fly to like every planet in the solar system. When did they ever say that was going to be a possibility? That never happened. And that's one of those oddball things, that makes me say, well, that's crazy. When was that ever mentioned? And it never was. And I think at the end of the day, you kind of have to look at it from that point of view. And it's just one of those things that I really wish that didn't happen. And then they start ranting about it and pissing and moaning about it and bitching about it. And it's like, it's not this, it's not that. And it's like, but yes, you're entitled to your opinion. I would be lying to say that you're not entitled to your opinion. And you are entitled to your opinion, absolutely 100%. But if that's not something that they mentioned or were going to do, then that's a problem in my book. Because where is that at? When it comes to that. So and that's what I'm trying to point out, like, folks. It's all about, if you're going to do a video and you're going to rant about something, make sure that you're not ranting just to rant for the sake of rantness. Don't sit there and try to, create. Don't do a rant because you're trying to create controversy among some game or the gaming community to get people riled up. Don't do that. That to me just doesn't work. And that's kind of how I feel about it. So at the end of the day, this episode is really about the rant. Ranting for the sake of venting is, I think, therapeutic, But at the same time, you know, if you're going to rant, at least have something to say. Don't just sit there and do a 2-minute or 4-minute or 10-minute or 15-minute video going and just taking a complete and total diarrhea dump on a game or a company because you don't agree with whatever that they did or did not do. And it's just, to me, it just feels like that's just not the right way to handle it. So this rant that I'm on is about the other people's rants that I kind of think they sometimes take and do things out of context. That's what they do. Well, all I know is sometimes you gotta give them an offer they can't refuse. I don't know what you're saying. Shut up. Sorry, the celebrities came out, but that is ultimately what this is about. It's about the rant. It's about the rants that people have are not structured. Many of the times it's either they're ranting about a series not being how it was, 6 games ago. A lot of Call of Duty guys that do this, on YouTube, lots of guys that do that, actually, as a matter of fact. Or it's a rant about how dare a company change their beloved series. It's always some kind of variation on a theme. If you're going to rant, at least have a thoughtful reason why. Don't sit there and with screaming and hollering and carrying on. Just be like, hey, if you're going to have what the Gaming Roundtable has, a discussion. Well, at the end of the day, that's all about I got for you right now. And I just want to tell you that I appreciate you tuning in. You can check me out at wordpress.com/gaming-roundtable. Got lots of articles. I'll have a new episode for you tomorrow night. I hope to have a new episode for you tomorrow night. And we'll come up with some more subjects and things that are near and dear to me. I hope that broadcasting in a more medium setting, well, I hope this did the trick. And instead of me broadcasting in the highest settings, which is why I want to apologize to any of my viewers or any of my subscribers that, hey, I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out with this whole streaming thing from the PS4 and all that good stuff. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with this. Like I said, the rant, while I think is psychologically a good thing from a venting standpoint, just remember, don't just rant for the sake of rant, and just accept the fact that your game, don't put up a YouTube video every time a sequel to the game you love, that you used to love, comes out and you're going to rant about it. Just don't buy it. Don't watch it. It's not going to be like your game you're going to be. There's no sense in ranting about it, right? We get it. We understand your point. I am the Juice Man 3941. That is my PSN tag. Hit me up on the PSN network if you want to game with me. If you don't want to game with me, well, you know what? It's all good. This has been the Gaming Roundtable. Coming up soon, I will have some guest stars or some guests on my show. Hopefully we'll get some insight. We're going to be talking about, I got a good friend of mine that I game with named D-Ron. He'll be coming up on an episode real soon. Going to be talking about The Crew, Wild Run, and other racing games that we both near and dear love and what they need to do and change and different things like that. And I want to talk at length about that. And again, please check me out here. I'll be on the PSN network broadcasting. I'll be on YouTube. This is Gaming Roundtable. And as always, gamers, good gaming.